On this edition of Southern News Week, Dunedin takes part in a nationwide shakeout for earthquake readiness. A team of young wrestlers head for national competitions, and the International Space Race comes to Alexandra. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. It was the day the world stopped. Schools, workplaces, people in the street and more took part in a global earthquake preparedness drill. In South Dunedin, a community workshop was ready when the alarm sounded.
Stop, cover and hold. Staff and workers at South Dunedin's Cargill Enterprises have been preparing for about a month for today's nationwide shakeout.
Where we've been talking quite a lot about finding good positions to take in the event of an earthquake. So the drop, cover, hold thinking is something that we've been developing, and so today everyone's quite excited actually about what will happen and getting a chance to put their learning into practice.
The New Zealand shakeout is a nationwide earthquake drill and tsunami hikoi, which took place at 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. At Cargill's, a staff member made an alarm sound and everyone put their training into practice.
Hey, there's an earthquake, watch out! Everyone get under the table, shake out!
And it's not just the staff at Cargill's. Drills took place all over Dunedin and New Zealand. Today is also International Shakeout Day, coinciding with the 30th anniversary of the 6.9 magnitude Loma Prieta earthquake, which killed 63 people in the San Francisco Bay Area of the United States. There are 84 staff at Cargill's, and Jeff Kemp says they've been involved with the shakeout campaign since it began, and now everyone knows their roles.
So the supervisors will take a look around where the guys are covered and how they're positioned, and then they'll just talk to them about how they could possibly improve on that a little bit. But we're hoping to get really good examples today.
Jeff Kemp says today's drill at Cargill's was a success, with everyone stopping, dropping and covering in Dunedin, the South today.
A group of Tairi wrestlers are ready to take on New Zealand's best at the upcoming National Championships. 12 wrestlers from the Tairi Taniwha's Amateur Wrestling Club were set to compete for glory in Hamilton.
Getting ready for the big dance. Wrestlers at the Tairi Taniwha's Amateur Wrestling Club are gearing up for the National Championships in Hamilton this weekend. Coach Justin Winter says the wrestlers have been preparing for the competition since the start of the year and have stepped up their training regimes over the past month.
Well, they're preparing for it right throughout the year, but as leading up to it, after our New Zealand Club Champs that was held here, we kicked the training into 3 nights a week, so it's just an extra night's training, but they have got their other sports which keep them reasonably fit as well. He
says because Tairi is a small club, anyone who's eligible to compete will be going up to the national champs.
I think it's each wrestler will have their individual goals. For a couple of them, this will be their first national, so it could be a little bit daunting. It is their sort of big dance for the year.
Winter says this is the club's big dance for the year, and they have a strong team and are confident they'll do well.
I'm pretty confident we should come away pretty solid. Like, I don't want to go and jinx anything, so I'm not going to say too much, but we have got a solid team there, and like I say, they've been training hard, they deserve it. So
the team are set to travel to Hamilton tomorrow. In Dunedin, the South today.
Clues to life more than a century ago have been unearthed next to the University of Otago's dental school. University archaeologists have uncovered evidence of the 19th century people who lived and worked on the site of the new clinical services building.
Hidden beneath the University of Otago's dental school are clues to what life was like in Dunedin more than a century ago. During construction of the new clinical services building, a team of archaeologists from the university uncovered evidence of the 19th century people who lived and worked in the area.
We carried out the excavation at the dental school because the university is doing a number of capital development projects around campus, and of course the campus zone covers a lot of the early settlement area of Dunedin.
From plates and footwear to evidence of pathways, cobblestones, foundations and water control, fragments of toys, bottles and matchboxes, the team uncovered a treasure trove of items during the excavation.
Underneath the site there we found material relating to activities such as blacksmiths. We found foundations of stables. In fact, the floor of the stables, the cold floor of the stables was still there. There was shoemaker and facilities associated with making of shoes.
The work was part of a larger body of research being carried out by the team, focusing on the development of North Dunedin in the 19th century. In Dunedin, the South today.
Central Otago has joined the billion-dollar space economy after a state-of-the-art space radar was unveiled recently. Californian company Leo Labs has built a radar on a Maniatoto farm near Naseby, which has the ability to track space debris as small as 2 centimetres.
Central Otago has officially joined New Zealand's growing space industry with the opening of a state-of-the-art space radar near Naseby. Built by Leo Labs, a company based in California, the radar will track space debris as small as 2 centimetres to help avoid collisions with orbiting satellites.
It turns out there's no radars of this type in the southern hemisphere anywhere. So when you look at space traffic safety, the collision predictions aren't very good over the southern hemisphere. This radar fixes that.
Maniatoto school pupils were told how the data collected will help satellites steer clear of space debris.
Right, a satellite operator needs to operate in the highways of space, and the obstacles in space are other space objects, and they're flying around at 8 kilometers per second, right, really fast. So what they do is they have little thrusters on their satellite, and they will maneuver their satellites to avoid running into things.
Fifth-generation Maniatoto farmer Phil Dowling says the radar, which is on his land, is causing a bit of a stir in the small community.
The locals find it quite interesting what's happening here. It's quite just an off-the-wall sort of a project really, to have a space radar in the middle of the Maniatoto.
The relationship with the local district council has been great and enabled us to build this radar. And we've been extremely honored to be welcomed onto the farm by the farmers Phil and Joe, and we're looking forward to a very long-term positive relationship with them.
Leo Labs Technical Officer Michael Nichols says Naseby is the perfect southern hemisphere location for the radar.
Beautiful landscape, you have the mountains in the background. We look for remote location with good internet, good infrastructure, good power, and it meets all those things. And mostly it's about the partnership with the local community. So we just had tremendous synergy with the owners of the property as well as the district council to make it possible.
The radar installation is operated remotely with no staff on site and is set to locate up to 95% of space junk that is not currently being tracked. In Naseby, the South today.
Still to come on this edition of Southern Newsweek, a Henley farmer hopes changes to flood banks will prevent further flooding which has plagued the region. And a southern knife maker is a cut above with celebrity chefs, so stay with us. Welcome back. Henley residents are hoping their township will be better protected from flooding after a long battle with the Otago Regional Council. Following several floods in the past 9 years, the council is finally restoring nearby flood banks.
The lower Tairi River breaching its flood banks, seen here in file footage from last year's November floods. Henley resident Alan Innes is just one of the many locals affected by regular floods, and he's pleased after a long wait the Otago Regional Council is finally maintaining the stop bank again.
They've told us that they're going to put 200 mil over the top of the whole length of the flood bank, which is good.
The settlement lies next to the Tairi River southwest of Dunedin Airport, and during floods road access to Henley is often cut off and silt covers the streets. They've been battling for almost 10 years to get the Otago Regional Council to maintain the bank.
After 2010 flood, we did an informal survey of the flood bank and found there were spots of it up to 600 millimetres lower than the highest part. So obviously a flood bank's only as good as its lowest point. So we then approached the council and the saga began. And you probably haven't got long enough for me to tell you the whole story, but we've come to 2019 where they're looking like they're going to do something, which is encouraging after such a long time.
After last year's floods, the council acknowledged work was not happening there as quickly as it would have liked, but there were higher priority sites around Dunedin and the Henley repairs had to wait. Innes is hoping the work will be prioritised in an efficient manner.
I'm just hoping that they'll top up the low spots before they add to the top. So yeah, that's encouraging. It's only taken 10 years for them to look at doing that.
The council's hoping to complete the maintenance of the flood bank before Christmas and also install a third outflow pipe near to the other two existing pipes to improve drainage into the Taieri River after floods. The council's committed $16,000 to these works. In Henley, the South Today.
A southern knife maker is becoming world famous for the knives he's creating in a humble Omaka shed. Peter Lorimer has been making knives for about a decade, and several top New Zealand chefs are using his tools for their trade.
A career that's on point, taking knife making from Omakau to the world. Knife maker Peter Lorimer is on the cutting edge of his craft, so much so his work is in the hands of some great chefs, although he's a bit shy talking about it.
Don't really like doing that, but Peter Gordon was very good to me in the early days and helpful information to me, and Al Brown's really good at the moment. He's and as are a number of other chefs, Johnny Swanson.
He says having top chefs using his knives is a huge compliment, and when the likes of UK celebrity chef Jamie Oliver uses them on TV, it tells him he's doing something right. Lorimer imports steel from Europe as a base for some of his knives.
Start with a German tool steel that I cut out, grind into a profile, and then harden. I then braze on the brass piece, glue and handle material, either wood or bone, then finish it off all together and sand it, and polish it, sharpen it.
However, when he makes Damascus knives, a process of heating and folding steel hundreds of times, he can source steel from pretty much anywhere.
So I've got old New Zealand Railways train springs for the hard part, and for the soft part I can use wrought iron from anywhere. I've got some of the old Westport Wharf, I've got a bit of the mould from Dunedin, bits off there, and so I can introduce materials from places that mean something to people.
He says one of the main joys of making knives is knowing that people from all walks of life can take pleasure in the kitchen using a thing well made. In Central Otago, the South Today.
20 years of Zonta extraordinary fashion were celebrated in Dunedin recently. Raising over $20,000 for Plunket, the event attracted 18 designers showing their spring and summer collections to a crowd of about 400 people.
This is our 20th show. We've had an amazing night. We've had over 380 people here. Everyone's been having fun, great designs on the catwalk, great grand auction by Rob Fowler.
It's been such an amazing event for us. It's been so well run and we're really so pleased to be the recipient this year.
Post Plunket is our cause because they are just a really amazing organisation. So they will use the money. We hope to be able to give them about $24,000 for their maternal world child health service.
Plunket always has gone by the ethos of being the fence at the top of the cliff rather than the ambulance at the bottom, and this is just another way that we do that. We work with women before they get to a stage where they need that really intensive critical postnatal support. So we're really excited to be offering these antenatal classes here with this funding.
The bond between some humans and their animals is so strong, one will move heaven and earth to be with the other. Last year, a Dunedin couple offered $2,000 for information to find their beloved dog called Meg. This tale has a happy ending, with Meg and her humans recently celebrating another milestone.
From fears and tears for a missing dog in early 2018.
She's my daughter. Really, I don't have children. She's been in my life every day for 6 years. So.
To relief when their precious Meg was found.
As far as I'm concerned, she's home and the universe has provided. And that is something that I never thought yesterday at 2 o'clock I would be saying today.
And now to smiles and wagging tails as a book documenting Meg's remarkable journey is being launched this evening. Meg still bears the scars of her 5 weeks lost on the outskirts of Dunedin, but her wagging tail says she's happy.
Yes, I mean, she helped me to walk again, and so when she was missing and we didn't know what had happened to her, we were just devastated. But we just kept going and going and going, and on the day that we were about to give up, we had that amazing phone call that she'd been found. So I guess Meg just knew she wanted to be found.
The book's author, Rachel McCoubrey, believed it would take her a year to write and illustrate Meg's story. However, it took her about half that time.
It seemed to flow, and it was such an enjoyable project. And Andy and Alison and Meg were all very involved, which was really nice. Andy used to bring Meg, so I got to know her character a little bit, which helped me with painting the pictures and things like that, yeah.
McCoubrey says there are many aspects of Meg's journey which tugged at her heartstrings, but there was one detail which took her breath away.
I think the fact that she was most likely had broken legs the whole time she was missing, so she must have been in a lot of pain, and it amazed me that she didn't give up, and I think she must have felt loved.
The book, fittingly titled Remarkable Meg, is being launched at Dunedin's Regent Theatre at 6 p.m. this evening. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on this edition of Southern Newsweek. South Dunedin was recently awash with music and culture at a busking festival, and an Invercargill school hosted Pet Day with many sheep flocking to take part. Thanks for staying with us. Organisers at the South Dunedin Busking Festival were blessed with one of the warmest days of spring for their recent event. More than 30 acts entered, volunteering to be scrutinised by the trio of judges.
36 entrants across 5 categories took part in the annual South Dunedin Busking Festival at the weekend. Competition was tough across all sections, with people showing a variety of talents. It was sometimes tough for judges to compare some quite different acts. The under-13 section was won by 11-year-old Lockie Ing Aram, who's been playing guitar since February this year. Second place went to Dancing Queens Stasia Tucker and Lucia Mori, with 9-year-old drumming sensation Brody tying with Sylvie Harper for third. In the individuals 13 to 18 years, Oscar Tobic came first, Quinn Hardy second, and Paige Milburn was third. A gorilla won the 18 and over individuals, with children's entertainer Shelley J and Ollie Crook sharing second place. M&M's, or Mariah Tangapiao and Michaela Haupapa, won the 13 to 18-year-old groups, ahead of Samuel and Rosalie in second, and Charlotte and Catherine coming third. And finally, in the music group 18 and over contest, the Ellie Jackson duo were first, a cappella group Diversity Quartet was second, and a Kamzan tribe of ballet dancers were third. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A crowd of nearly 500 people ran 5 kilometres around Oamaru's racecourse, while being pelted with various shades of coloured powder along the way. The Rainbow Run is now in its 7th year and always raises funds for a good cause.
Participants making their way around Oamaru Racecourse for the annual 5-kilometre Rainbow Run on Saturday. Sport Waitaki coordinator Mitch McRae says he's happy with the turnout.
There's about 480, so just under 500. That's, anything around the 500 we're doing pretty good. Obviously the weather plays a big part, and a lot of people just rocked up on the day.
Runners came along not just for the exercise, but the thrill of being pelted with coloured powder of various shades.
Well, I think it's just adds, with the paint being thrown, getting exercise in, walk or run, but adding the elements of throwing the paint makes it a little bit more attractive for people and enjoyable for everyone.
McRae says the event raises funds for the charity Sporting Chance.
the money raised today goes back into the community to kids from disadvantaged backgrounds to contribute to their footwear or pay for their sports fees.
Over the last year, $8,000 has been allocated to around 50 needy children of North Otago. In Oamaru, the South Today.
Dunedin and Otago's oldest school is set to become New Zealand's newest. Arthur Street School will be completely rebuilt during a $10 million refurbishment of the 171-year-old precinct.
Otago's oldest school, Arthur Street School, is set to get a much-needed $10.9 million rebuild. The junior block will be demolished and rebuilt first, and the pupils will be juggled around the remaining part of the school.
So the rebuild is going to be done in 2 stages, taking out one half of the school, rebuilding it, then keeping the school operational at all times, and which is going to be a challenge, I'm sure.
The school library, built in 1877, will be looked after by Heritage New Zealand, who are investigating how it can be preserved.
The original slate roof has got to a stage where it's not doing the job that it needs to, so it's got some leaks going on that need to be fixed.
Established 171 years ago aboard Scottish immigrant ship the Philip Lane, the school shifted to its present site in 1877.
The importance of this rebuild for Arthur Street School is to be able to turn this site into more accessibility for our students. Its particular landscape is incredibly tricky with its street frontage and things. Everywhere you get into the school it's via stairs.
Blackwood says developing the school for the next century is exciting, and she's hoping to turn a sod of dirt in 2021. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Thornbury school pupils and the wider community turned out for a pet day in Southland recently. With an emphasis on rural pets, the event helped teach the children how to look after animals.
Pets on parade at Thornbury Primary School in Southland. Yesterday's Pet Day saw dozens of children bring their pets to school for the day.
And it was all about celebrating everything rural. Children still doing crafts, bringing along the animals, talking to judges about the care of their animals and having their community coming in as well.
The children took part in competitions such as lamb drinking and fancy dress.
My mum just bought its skirt thing, and this necklace thing is off my dress, and this was my little hat when I was little.
Principal Kay Teviotdale says the day is a celebration for the Thornbury community, with everyone, including young farmers, pitching in.
We've had so many people like from the young farmers come in and help to take the agri-kids. We've had grandparents and great-grandparents. It's just been a really nice day.
In Thornbury, the South Today.
A Dunedin bird rescue organisation is on the lookout for foster families to look after the dozens of orphan ducklings which are coming in this spring. Bird Rescue Dunedin provides foster families the information they need to have the right setup and the knowledge to care for the little ones.
Spring has already brought well over 100 motherless ducklings to Bird Rescue Dunedin. Sue Cook, she's been getting more and more orphaned ducklings through her door as people hear about her charity-funded organisation. And she's looking for foster families to be able to take care of the ducklings for the 2.5 months it takes to raise them to fledgling age.
So I need more foster carers that can set up and that have outside area that they can provide a pen and a paddling pool for them, a safe pool, and just look after them for 10 weeks.
Once people express an interest in fostering ducklings, she checks their setup and makes sure they know what they're doing.
Just a big plastic tub, a desk lamp with a 75-watt bulb to keep them warm. They can sit under or move away from them if they're too hot. The biggest problem is people put them in water. They think they should be in the water. And they get soaked to the skin, they get a chill and they die.
Cook says some ducklings need foster care after being orphaned when their mother gets hit by a car while crossing the road, and others are in need of care after being misplaced.
The wee ducklings fall down drains, or they've just found them lost without mothers.
She says 157 orphan ducklings have already come through her door this season, being brought in from as far away as Queenstown and the lower South Island. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And that wraps up this edition of Southern News Week. For the latest news from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a lovely evening. Ka kite anō.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.